Let me add my camera back. Hello. Hello. I'm pretty excited about this stream. Let's close this overflowing timer. I think if I refresh it, though, it will... it doesn't. All right. I'm very excited about this stream because what we're going to do is over the week, I've been using Manus and then recently Scout, which is fucking awesome. To create like basically every idea that I had in my head, I started like putting into Manus and into Scout, burning an insane amount of money, to be honest. But I was like, let's go maximal. And it really is starting to feel like I always wanted to have 5 clones of myself to explore all the ideas in software that I always wanted to explore because I love software. Like I know one day I was 6 years old and I was walking with my grandmother and there was like this button on the wall and I pressed it and must have been like some kind of elevator alarm button or something like that. And I pressed it and like a voice came out and said like, hello. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking awesome. Like I pressed on a button, stuff happens. I want to press buttons all my life. Which I have a lot of buttons now. Buttons. Oh no. That's nice. I have buttons with T in them. The more important thing is dripping on my power strip. It's dripping on my power strip, so I'm gonna take a little bit moment cleaning up my buttons. I'll be right back. Clumsiness is my middle name. Like, and I've read later on that, or I learned recently that it's like a lot of autistic people are very clumsy and don't have like good physical sense of their body, which makes sense. I fucking suck at that. Thank God modern electronics, like usually water, doesn't really do much damage. So yeah, I love buttons. I wanted to be a programmer all my life. I have all these tons of ideas of things I want to explore, like ancient operating systems, ancient programming languages, new programming languages, all the research. These are kind of all the papers, and I would love to implement each one of them that I've read like over the last year. Anyway, now that I have agents, I was actually like, hey, why not ask the agent to implement the paper that I want? Or basically build every idea that I have, say, for example, porting an ancient like planning system to the modern world. And so I've been doing this a lot lately. And today is the day where we actually unwrap them, because I actually haven't tried any of these. I asked the agent and Manus to like run it. So James, like what waterproof buttons do you recommend? I really enjoyed when like the MacBook and I think the Lenovo started adding like a tray underneath the keyboard. But I must be honest, like I've spilled a shit ton of stuff into my computers since like the 90s. And I don't think anything ever broke. Like I had one issue where the MacBook, like I basically spilled an entire tea in there and one of the keyboard keys wasn't working anymore. So I was like, fuck, like I let it dry. I put it in the oven. I did all of that stuff. It still wasn't working. Ordered a new keyboard from Apple, got the new keyboard, installed it, and the same key was not working. I was like, what the fuck? And it turned out that like in the flat cable, they have like little interlocking things. There was like a tiny little speck of dust that the water must have carried in there that was like keeping the pin from contacting. So basically just blowing on it fixed it. But I don't think I ever broke something with putting it into water. Like water is not that conductive. I took all my tools to my studio space, so I don't have like my multimeter there. But it's only when you start adding like electrolytes and stuff that it starts being conductive. And then most of the modern software modern hardware being at like 1.2 volts and 3 volts even. Like you really have to have very conductive water for it to do anything. Um, so usually displays I've ruined with water, right? Like once you start having water behind the display, just like it will just like stay there forever. Anyway, don't put stuff into water. What's much more horrible is like sodas and sticky shit. Like yeah, that's evil. I was working at like a resin printing 3D company. That stuff is the thing that ruined a lot of keyboards for me. Anyway, I want to start. This is all the stuff that I did in Scout.new, and Scout.new seems to like be really like putting so much effort into things. And some of it's able to run Docker. I don't think I was able to run Docker. Oh yeah, the rubber keys. Yeah, that's kind of shitty. So I bought. So just to show the comment on the stream, the ZX80. I recently bought the very first computer because I grew up in France, and France had this like kind of techno utopian take. Every household in France could get like a terminal with a modem, which is called a Minitel, which was great fun. And I kind of want to have one now, actually. Actually, let me see on eBay how much they are. They looked awesome. And so France had this thing, like I was living in a very, very small village in Normandy when I was like from 6 to 9 years old. And the school had like literally, I think, 60 students. So all the classes were merged together, right? Like from ages 6 to 10. And we had a computer classroom with these computers called the TO9 from Thomson. So like a French, I don't even know what CPU they have. Is it a ZX80? No, it's a Motorola 6809. But basically we had those, and there's a version with rubber keys and there's a version without rubber keys. So I think this is the rubber key version. And then there's also the one with real keys. So I recently I bought it, out of nostalgia, but I made sure to get the clicky keys. Although I think they're rubber dome. I don't remember. Rubber dome is bad, right? Because also the plastic degrades over time. Anyway, how much the Minitel? Holy shit. That one looks rough, man. That's crazy. They're like $200, man, but they look awesome. Like that's the one we had. 450 fuck. Like what the fuck? Let me see on the French market. Man, is every household in France had that. It was really cool. You could log on to like government services and all of that, and that was in the 80s. Yeah, they're $10 in France. So so much for that. Holy shit, I'll get one and I'll probably be able to mod it to just like use it as a terminal for all my retro stuff. This is awesome. This is like right next where my parent lives, actually. I don't think they had 8 gigabytes of storage, but I think they had more like 8 megabytes. Also seems way too much. I don't think they had any storage at all. Anyway, so much for like, I really want to have all my ideas that I have about software to basically build them. Of course, that's totally unrealistic, right? Because like the more I build ideas, yeah, the BBC Micros, like I think the UK also had like, I mean, I think pretty much every country probably had these futuristic takes. There's like I don't remember what it's called. Sadly, it's like a pretty shitty. Got a computer that's pretty shitty, but it was like, let me see this one. So even Mobius, because like sci-fi and comic books are pretty widespread in France, right? Like, so the Alice computer, which from the reviews looks pretty garbage, but it had this awesome cover. And I wonder, like, if this had been like the way computers were marketed and had stuck instead of being like the MIT kind of like toxic masculinity take that happened later on, and just like the sci-fi vibe of it all versus, the much more dystopian kind of cyberpunk take. Like, I really wonder what would have happened with computers if like this had been the aesthetic that had, or like the serial experiments lane kind of aesthetic would have happened. So anyway, I can nerd out about this stuff like forever. I fucking love this. I love Mobius. It's just so good. But I had Scout do a bunch of stuff, and they're really significantly complicated projects that I gave it, right? It's like at first I started just doing like deep research stuff, which was not that crazy. But then I started just like giving it other tasks I had Manus do, which is like just give it a GitHub link and have it like analyze the whole thing. So it did that. So maybe I don't even remember what Suna is. So Suna is an open source generalist AI agent. Oh yeah, that looks kind of awesome. And we're not going to try that on stream, but maybe we'll just like quickly download the files that Scout created. And I think you can go to files and then download all. And since I've already been vibing quite a bit on this like agent stuff this week, I actually have like a vibes repo set up, and I have a structure for it set up. So we have, today we're the 25th, right? We're going to go into the 25th store, and then what's the file name that it downloaded? 099 EA blah, 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 blah. So this is going, oh, it has like slash names in there. I don't know how that's going to be going. Let's see what happens. I don't think it can like escape its route, right? Yeah, it strips the first. So we're getting all these files here. And does it actually come with dates on there? How can I do the show timestamp on files? How do I do that? Stat lslt full time. It just used the times from the zip file, right? Does zip store time? File time? How do I keep it? This is like brain atrophy. Unzip.x. Okay, so we're gonna do unzip.x, right? I hope it's not hallucinated. Probably not. What was the flag to get the full time? Alright, that didn't change stuff. Whatever. Maybe I should remove everything. Oh, come on. Yeah, no, it doesn't seem to do it. So, because I don't know in which order they were created, so that's maybe something that we should add to the prompt, right? When I prompt Scout as an agent, start to have it ask it to store the order in which it creates the files, which is something Manus is pretty good at. It's like it just will create these like nice reports and stuff like that. So I wonder what, say, if we look at the comprehensive report, which is ultimately what I asked it to build, where that is actually stored. Oh, it's there. So glow this, and then we're going to look at it. Oh, this is pretty comprehensive, isn't it? I don't know if there's like a way to view view markdown files rendered in Firefox. Is there like an extension for do that or something like that? Extension markdown viewer, is that the good one? Let's try that. And then we're going to go to File, Home Manual, Code, Vazen, Corporate, Headquarters, Vibes. Go to this folder, Suna Analysis, and then we're going to go to Suna Comprehensive Report. Why doesn't it render it? Text area cache requires new permissions. Markdown viewer, theme auto, because it needs a content type. Will this serve the content type? I don't know. Does this type text markdown? So why doesn't the markdown viewer work? So I installed this markdown viewer and I have it. However, it seems in a rough situation when I opened it, stored on a prompt to me if I would like to download it. When I go into applications, which operating system? That's weird. Not sure what this guy's doing here. Why it's not showing. Text markdown, path matching, MD, allow all, refresh. So that was the local host. There we go. Interesting. I had to refresh cached. So I guess maybe the cache did it. I don't know why the Python did it. So it's generalist AI, web browsing capability, click buttons, user experience. I guess this is like kind of probably the same that I would have gotten from Cursor. I'm scrolling through. I'm pretty good at seeing stuff that scrolls through. I like the pseudocode here. I really wonder what kind of models they use in Scout. So this seems like a pretty standard kind of code base analysis, which is nice to be able to let it run in the background. And I've been using Manus a lot to do that. The cool thing is that you can ask, since it's running a VM, you can actually ask them to run that stuff. And one issue I've been running with Scout, but they told me that they were going to fix it, is that every time I ask it to take screenshots, yeah, I could open the folder with Obsidian, of course. I didn't want to have the look of Obsidian, and I didn't want to necessarily show my private vault. I mean, I guess I've shown it on stream before, but anyway, I was going to try something new. I actually like the light screen, the light theme, versus I like Obsidian dark theme because I write in it. So anyway, also it's something that's actually, yeah, I know why I was doing it. It's like when you're in Scout and you go to one of the projects and you click the markdown file, they actually give you like the unmassaged, they give you the unmassaged markdown, and I wanted to have it rendered. So right, if I go to, well, I'll go into some of these projects later on, but if I go to something that I know finished, did this finished? So if I go to a markdown file here, right, so it's rendered down here, but then if I go into open a new tab, it wouldn't be rendered. And it's still not rendering, like what the fuck? Advanced options. Because it has text markdown, right? And then this is type text markdown. This is kind of weird. Why doesn't it do it? What is that? Reader view? Yeah, that looks ugly. I'm a bit confused. Because it was definitely working afterwards with the local file, right? Maybe I need to restart Firefox. Auto reload. Yeah, I want all of that, please. Compiler. So I think it's, yeah, I don't know. Does it say something in the console? So it doesn't say something in here. And then I think if I go into about debugging, I can go to this Firefox. I can go to the markdown view inspection and open the inspection side. And then I can go back here. And it says Chrome web request is undefined. Yeah, that's problematic if it uses like Chrome stuff. So it's not able to load the file because it's using the Chrome web request. I wonder, we're getting off track here again. But actually what I'm going to try doing, the browser web request is not available in the context scripts. This is because Firefox and Chrome extensions are like kind of broken. I wonder why it's not saying that in the store though, right? Markdown viewer Firefox. extension. Do I need to like maybe load another extension to get it? Is there something in the reviews? It's not actively monitored. Features, it's on GitHub. How many downloads does this have? 56 reviews. $10 months ago, Chrome web request. I don't know. Markdown viewer here. Is there anything in the comments? So, you know, while I'm talking about this stuff, I'm gonna like figure out why gives me a chrome.web request error in the about debugging tab in Firefox after installing it, and let it rock. So we're going to move on. I guess we're going to open that stuff in Obsidian, right? Oh no, it's the browsing locally works. Okay, so this is interesting. Nothing too bad here. The style is like pretty sloppy. Yeah, this is slop. So I don't like it. This is something that I would like to, that I would probably just do manually, right? I like the fact that, oh, this comes from my settings. Service oriented. Yeah, this is all, I mean, it's interesting that it has like microservices and stuff, but it like doesn't link to the files. Gives me like a pretty quick overview, but nothing too crazy in here. Yeah, this was a test. I wonder about the diagram. This is like, this is the funny thing where it like just calls like one of the, it's definitely not 4.0, it's some kind of image generator, and then so all of these are garbage. They're pretty funny to look at though, but so key algorithms, Redis-based agent control, stop agent run. This is actually interesting to look at, but again, this was just a test. Like I knew this was probably going to be better in Cursor anyway. The next thing I would probably do, and this is going to be interesting in terms of how I'm going to work with Scout, I probably will like just upload an end file at some point to give it all the tokens it needs to actually run this thing. I think that's like a big thing that both Manus and Scout need to solve, is like basically how to interact with like private stuff. And in Manus, you can interact with the browser. Didn't really have full success with any of those. So this was the first present. I started just like because this was like an easy one and a boring one. The next one that I want to look at is actually not one of the previous ones, because all of these are a little bit too ambitious in their scope. But I know that there's one that I really want to look at, which is, where is it? It was the Go file analyzer with TreeSitter. So I do have a tool that uses TreeSitter to parse files and basically get context out of them quickly for context building in LLMs. Back from when I was doing a lot of like copy-paste based programming before I moved to Cursor. And it feels like now, especially with agents, with O3, with like these improved web tools, I'm starting to go back, and especially with my workflow in Cursor being mostly now investing in a code base, analyzing it, writing a great document, and then just one-shotting the thing, that like I'm going to be moving to agents more and more, and maybe use Cursor or something web-based basically, because I do want these like more advanced web searches and analysis things to create my one-shot documents and then copy-paste back, right? And then creating context is going to be pretty important. And most of those don't use TreeSitter. So my tool was called Oak. And it's rough as fuck, right? It's like, it was one of the very early tools that I built like 2 years ago already. So this was like GPT 3.5 times, GPT 4 times. And it was like one of the first kind of Go tools besides my framework that I was building. So a lot of this is a little bit misguided, but it's still pretty useful, right? Like if I go, well, actually, we're going to download this thing over here, the TypeScript, the GoSitter, TreeSitter analyzer. Go to the files, download all, And did we get it? No. Why did the download not work? There we go. Zip archive 0D7. We're going to go back to our vibes repo. 250425. And then unzip T0D, right? No. 0D7. All right. Oh, I downloaded it twice. It did work the first time. So now I'm going to do tree sitter go. I'm going to go into tree sitter go. I'm going to unzip it here. And now we're going to have like a little look at it with cursor actually this time, not Obsidian. And so we're going to go to open folder, Corp headquarters, vibes, and let's open the whole vibes folder. I'm not sure if this is good, but and I guess we can look at markdown files here as well. So let me close all of this. And then we're going to go into the tree sitter go thing and kind of start looking around at what it actually created. And if we look at the log of the steps that it took, it sets up the development environment, right? And so you can look at, oh, I don't have Go. Let me install Go. Oh, now I'm going to download, I don't know, a shit ton of stuff. And then there's no such, like it does like, you can tell that it's like an LLM. It's like kind of fucking stupid at the beginning, runs into all these errors, but it creates like a new go.mod. And are we looking at the same stuff here? There we are, Go file analyze. So it seems to have like the same kind of problems that all the LLM stuff that I have is just like they are not able to create like files in the right directory. So I'm wondering, like, did this thing ever run? Like, how did it create that? That's definitely a problem. Like, I was hoping that it would build it, and then it does all of this kind of weird stuff again. Okay, so interesting. So it's less clever than it looked at a global pass, right? So there's definitely this Go file analyzer, which it recreates once more here. And it downloads it. This is their file watcher. So I keep running into iNotify file watcher limits now. And you can see it's file watching on the entire file system, at least the home thing. So it's initializing it once again. It's getting go git, interesting. It's getting go nri. What is go nri? Well, we'll look at this later. Go tree sitter languages, okay. Then it says like this module already exists. And the problem it has with doing these dots and the Go tools is that they often return like error exit code 1 when they're basically saying like, yeah, I could move on, but like you didn't do it exactly as I wanted, so exit. They're getting a little bit less user hostile. It's still fucking creating this Go file analyzer, which is like kind of hilarious. So now it seems to be doing the right stuff. So this is an indication that we might want to build a Go prompt for Scout, and let's do that. We're going to create a file, and here in my vibes, I'm going to create a folder, new folder, where I'm going to start adding prompts to file new folder Scout. And then here I'm going to do a prompt about how to create Go applications as we go, so that it has a little bit more help, right? Go prompt MD. And so now I'm just going to say like the problems was file path, installing the right Go compiler, creating and initializing the module plus package name. So we're going to note all the stuff that went wrong. Create a yeah. There's a YouTube stream, Stephen. Isn't that I'm starting to up my game. I still don't fully understand. Ray is helping me a lot, but I still don't really fully understand how to structure my stream so that the first 30 seconds are like great and all of that stuff. But since I've been streaming so much this week, I kind of got into a good rhythm. I think I hope I can keep it up once I go back to work. Obviously, I won't be able to stream 7 hours a day. But it's been really fun. Like if I could choose, I would stream like 7 hours a day every day, just doing this. So maybe Ray has been pushing is like, I'm gonna get to 100K with my content, with my business strategies and my apps, and I kind of took him up. But obviously, I'm starting from zero, so it's gonna be interesting to see if I can manage to just like get to a point where I do this full time, just like building software that I want, and I can kind of do it at work, right? Like I'm pretty happy to do that at work. Yeah. So just to say the first 30 seconds, add drama. I definitely did, but so I don't understand how you like schedule things, and I kind of like I want to have the live stream go up 15 minutes before on X and Twitch to have like the waiting room thing, and then but on YouTube you have to upload like a screenshot and then start your stream like bang on with this content that's like grabbing people. I'll get there. I definitely like if you can look in my Scout first things was like I did research on like YouTube channel monetization, video editing, like growing a YouTube channel for AI developers, and I didn't read it, so So, and I also don't know, like this looks pretty sloppy and I'm not really sure. I think just consistency is going to get me there, and then structuring my streams a little bit, and then I'll just like look at what other people are doing. I also started adding like Blender scripts to kind of create shorts because I like Blender. So I know that I just want to automate my video editing. So anyway, let's go back. We're noting down the problems with the Go. So here it creates the main.go. Let's look at it. This looks pretty decent. I wonder how it one-shot it, and I wonder what the prompt was to get there, because I don't see any kind of markdown document having been created so far, right? It installed all of this, then it like struggled getting the Go module dependencies going. Go is now installed. It installs the... So when did it create the main.go? Because that doesn't even show up down here. So what are those? Oh no, those were previously, right? So it's trying to install the language server, because what I want to do is basically build a tool that uses treesitter to parse a file and then use the language server protocol to look up where the functions are used and defined using the language server protocol. Sorry, I didn't even go over what I was building here. So the initial prompt was create a Golang program that parses Go files with treesitter, and then for each function uses the Go language server protocol to query where it's used and defined and output the results as JSON. So that was the task. And I already started building, I mean, obviously I have Oak, which is my treesitter parsing thing. So I know a little bit about treesitter, and the query language used in treesitter wasn't all that great. So actually, while we're running, right, like we can start doing things here. What I wanted to do is maybe we should finish our Go prompt first as well, before I give it that resource. Actually, let me crack this. So this is one of my favorite books. Then we're going to build a pattern matcher over here in the software tools, and then we have logic programming. Let me see. There's an algorithm here in this book, which you should just read it. Like I keep saying it, just get Paradigms of Artificial Intelligence Programming by Norvig. It's like free online. I really like this book. This is just the best book about programming in general. It's like, forget the AI. It's cool that we're doing AI and that the book is about AI. Deal with the Common Lisp. You'll learn Common Lisp is cool. Embrace it. I think it's been rewritten in Python as well, but Norvig's code is just so cool. It's just so clean and elegant. And then you build all these cool programs. You build ELIZA, you build like GPS, you build all these cool programs that are actually really relevant for dealing with structured output of LLMs. And you'll see the pattern matching code is exactly kind of what I want, which is unifying variables over treesitter output. So I'm just going to do this. Build a Golang program that uses treesitter to parse code files, and then is able to take pattern match expressions and return the matched the matched environment. Use the algorithms described in here, and then let's go. So those are all the little ideas that I've been lugging around with myself, and that I've been wanting to try out. Let's go back to here. I want to say like add tests for algorithms. Use mocks in the tests when necessary. Use table-driven tests when possible. So that's good. Let's move on. So it did all of this, and then it started writing the code, right? So set up the Go environment. It added WebSockets. For whatever reason, whatever the fuck. I've encountered an issue. So it said like, oh yeah, Go is too old, right? So it installed then. I don't know what it did here. Successfully set it up. So it has tree-sitter, GLSP, which I guess is good. JSON RPC 2 and WebSocket for communication with the LSP. That's why. And then it starts writing these codes, right? And those are already like super cool. I mean, nothing here is like super crazy, but it does things like references. So this feels like Sonnet 3.7 to me, maybe, where it like goes overboard. I'm not sure. So another one here is use Cobra for CLI apps, use Echo for HTTP apps, use either plain HTTP server or Echo for HTTP apps, use Viper for configuration, and use YAML for most cases. Use error group. Let me see actually what I have in my cursor roles, because that's actually stuff that I already wrote. So Go guidelines, just going to take those. I don't know if I wanted to have HTMX in here. I'm going to remove that. Oh yeah, always use a context. Use Cobra for command lines. We already had that. Use the defaults packet name instead of default, because it keeps getting that day in and that wrong. When starting Go routines, use error group. So that's cool. This is the main function. Looks pretty good. It was created in Go File Analyzer. Then it does the LSP client, so this one I struggled with a little bit. So I really am curious to see what it did out of it and how it was able to figure out. See, like this is something I wasn't able to figure out. Creates a new LSP client. How does it do that? LSP client is this guy over here. Has a RPC2 connection. Has a server. What is that for? Oh, this is starting the server. Okay, that's cool. And then it has an LSP handler, which itself just has an LSP client. That is weird. Why would this have a link back to probably itself? Client handler is, yeah, that is weird. This is some weird hallucination-y stuff. Like that doesn't make sense. It starts a GoPLS server. It has a command here. It starts a buffered stream. It sends the capabilities. So that's nice, because that it definitely needs to do here. And you can tell how MCP was inspired by LSP, which doesn't really make sense to me. But then we have a stop method, which is nice. Then we have find references. Okay, so that's interesting. It does a reference params. So I'm curious to see, I did get this going in my own experiment. So we can always use, if this doesn't work or doesn't compile, which I can totally expect it to be, right? Like this is written completely blind and it's already starting to do weird shit like this. I could totally expect to not work, but it will give us like a lot of kind of useful things that we might reuse. I'm not sure how painful it is to be reusing these things. Like, because usually it's better to start from scratch when you have broken code with an LLM, just to make it like flow nicely. If you start getting hung up in details, we're like, yeah, like there's something needs to be closing close, because you didn't write the code and you actually have no idea what it looks like. It could be that it's just too painful to actually fix, but it doesn't mean it's useless, right? Because we can actually extract all the interesting stuff out of there potentially use printf logs and all of that to use a reasoning model to then clean up things. So I'm really curious to see like what's my flow going to be. So what is it changing here? It's adding the context argument. So it like probably tried compiling it, find definition. Here it's doing some kind of complex rewriting. I don't know. I'm not going to look at every diff either. Analyze function references. This is cool. So the fact that it compiles them is really nice because at least it will fix like a lot of structures. It's installing the right packages. So I can kind of trust a lot of what comes out, right? Compared to just like having a blind agent that just creates stuff. I do get like some nice things over here. Then it has a sample program. That's cool. And I really wish, so that's the other prompt, which I'm going to do, use a Git repo to manage the files. Always cd into the absolute path of the project before running commands, writing files. I wonder if this is going to help. And see, this is good because it will like start compiling it and then it will like kind of fix all of this like little annoying stuff. And hopefully it gets there, right? Like it's going to edit that stuff. It's removing all of these things. This is really, really valuable because this is what takes a lot of time just refining as you build your programs in Cursor, right? Like this is where you're going to spend your day. And because you only have like a single thread as a human, that's basically your day. If it's an agent doing it, like fine, cool. Like I can run 10 and get like 10 of my projects kind of set up, at least that they compile. Which is a significant amount of time, right? And so this is here where linters could be coming cool, right? Like use lint, always run go format. That's nice. We could paste in like a makefile with one of my standard project makefiles templates. But in any case, so here it's fixing things. That's a little bit dubious because it said... See, it's like an interesting question of like how much it degrades itself as it starts trying to deal with its own issues. So avoiding the most amount of errors and linters up front is going to be really useful to avoid the program just like self-nuking itself, right? Like, because I often had that where it was like not passing the unit test in Manus. And then at the end, it just like replaced everything with a shell script that said that unit test passed. Which is great. So now it's able to build it and then it runs it and gets a segfault. So this is really nice that it also runs it and fixes like the nil pointer stuff, right? And then it runs it again. And then it builds it and then the analysis JSON looks pretty cool. So, I mean, let's see if we can reproduce that, right? Like if this works, that's pretty awesome. Honestly, like it's such a mess here. So go run outside of go work use dot, go run dot, current module directory outside modules listed in go work or their selected dependency. So maybe I should move my vibes repo somewhere else. Move vibes dot. I probably need to reopen this in Cursor. Open folder, code, phase and vibes. And what's the go work that I need to fix? All right. So let's try it again. Vibes, 25, tree sitter go file analyzer, go run dot. And go mod file not found in current directory or upwards directory. So that is interesting, right? Am I just in the wrong directory? No, I'm not. And this is the weird thing is like, that's where having a Git repo would probably good because it was working at some point, right? It was in go file analyzer, analysis sample, And the analysis sample is in here, but then it like started moving things around. So it maybe started moving things over here. Was this the first function that it did? But where's the simplify.go? Where's all that crap? All right, this is getting like a little bit confusing. This is weird, right? It's like it created the file simplified. It added the file LSP client, which is also there. It created main.go. So we're going to see this. This is probably going it probably got moved over there, got the output, created file tree sitter, go file analyzer. So it created all of these things, and then it created the file main.go, which is empty. Function analyzer parser. Where did it create this recursive analyzer stuff? Yeah, this is getting messy. So this is where adding Git is, I think, going to be useful. Created file recursive analyzer. Because they're also in the top level part. Main enhanced. Like, this is kind of a mess. This is annoying. Recursive analyzer. It has go file analyzer, recursive analyzer again. So we'll see if this compiles. This is not fun. I don't like this. Go mod tidy. Go get recursive analyzer imported by recursive analyzer. All right, well, at least it compiles. So function info redeclared in this block, other declaration, simplified analysis result. I shouldn't have moved these files, right? Yeah, let me move those back, commit, and then we're going to start hacking on it. So we added this directory. It's not a Git repo. Wait, what the fuck? Not a Git repo? Oh, I added it as a Git submodule. Oh my god. So we're going to move it back to the corporate headquarters, commit, and then we're going to clone it fresh. Git add. Well, we're going to ignore the history. We're going to commit this. Add scout.new first projects. Maybe I shouldn't get too hung up on this project at first. We saw that it's a mess. Maybe we should start just like looking at other projects while we're at it, and then come back to this instead of turning this into a debug fest. So that's what I'm going to do. This was very interesting. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff in here, but it looks like it just like got turned into this weird mess, right? Edited file recursive analyzer main.go, which it created on the top here. Generated file recursive directory analysis, developed all of these things. Then it created the file JSON formatter.go, which I think is in the top level in here. So let me clone this real fast. Git clone vibes. So we're in here, treesitter.go, and then the JSON formatter is in the top level. I really wonder how it was able to build this and how they got like moved around. It's a very interesting right? Like it was starting to not be able to write these files either, as you can tell. So it uses the echo method to create them because the edit tool probably was failing. So here it's in the top level directory, and it already has all of this nonsense in here as well. All right, I think the Git repo stuff is going to help quite a bit, right? And then it started creating the web server. I never see it like move files around, so I suspect that it's the incremental editing and outputting, and I think it outputs like the whole file every time, and that started just like moving these things a little bit everywhere. So really interesting. Error targeting the whole thing. No screenshot available. That's annoying. Go file analyzer. Well, obviously this is like not. This has no screenshot. And here it generates the images. So this again is just like hallucinated stuff because it's not able to take screenshots. They told me that they would fix that, right? And then it creates a documentation. It creates all of these tests. Actually run the website and use a real browser to take screenshots. Nah, it's just like generated it. In one run, I had it like do its stuff. So interesting. Project is kind of a mess, which is a little bit disappointing, but maybe with the Git roles that we now created, and I'm going to take this as go prompt MD. And what I'm going to do is go into cursor, go into Sonnet 3.7, and then turn this into clean LLM instructions to use when writing Go. I'm going to turn off the thinking mode. And we're going to see what this does. I'm using Sonnet because it's usually a pretty nice prompt engineer. I don't know if this is going to be useful, right? Place code logically, name packages, organize files using standard Go project, set up a Git repo, always use absolute path when running commands or writing files, use Go format, apply linting tools, use var interface, use context dependencies, use error group for clear application. All right, write comprehensive tests for algorithms and business logic. Aim for high test coverage of critical code path. Say why not. Best practices, handle file path, ensure you're using the correct Go compiler version. Okay, so this is something. Add a section about installing the Go 1.24 compiler for Ubuntu. And I'm going to put the web in here. Yeah, and all of that, that's just slop. And I always remove slop because it's like it tends to just like make the model do too much. And especially do things that are pretty complicated that it doesn't know, like handling performance issues. Like, no, it shouldn't do that. Installing Go, sure, why not? And I think this is maybe, so installing Go, actually I should make sure that this is the right thing. Install Go 124.2. So maybe I should just do install Go and have it like refer to install the Go compiler C, and then just get this link, right? Install the latest Go compiler. Go compiler, use format, apply linting, apply Golang CI lint, linting tools to ensure code quality. And let's see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this exact same prompt again in Scout. I'm going to attach these Go guidelines, right? Vibes on prompts, Scout, Go prompt. And I'm going to use the exact same prompt that we had because I kind of liked the result quite a bit, right? In this tree sitter kind of stuff. So where are we? Where is the tree sitter? Go server. There it is. And because I also asked it later on to do something more for me. So I might add this as well. And where is my second instruction? There it is. Take some screenshots and write documentation. I mean, maybe they fixed it. And then use the attached guidelines for the project. Let's see what happens, right? All right, so that was interesting. I'm going to commit the Go prompt that we did. Git add prompts. I hope that this helps a lot. Like, this would be awesome if it fixed most of the issues. The next thing, and I'm afraid that now we're going to run into this exact same problem for everything that I created. But let's see if I can have something that's a little bit not too complex. Because I asked it to do like crazy stuff at the end. Prompt engineering dashboard, Golang. You add JavaScript evaluation middleware using Goja. Brain Trust clone, sandbox shell execution environment for LLM tool calls, troubleshoot Chrome extension in Firefox. So that's the one we started, right? Yeah, that's all very interesting here. Not what I want to look at. Did I create anything that's a little bit simple? I'm going to go into the implement ttemp system in Golang, which I started twice. So here I do have. Okay, so this one was broken. Implement ttemp system in Golang. This one was broken. And then the other one, implement ttemp system with web interface. I think this one worked. All right, cool. So we're going to do the same stuff. We're just going to download the files. And then this looks better in the structure, right? So I think there's still duplicated files here. Yeah, it still has the same issue where here it like kind of created the home underneath the same home. I wonder if this is like an error of the way this is downloaded. It also has like another copy. So it definitely seems to be struggling with not duplicating files, right? Like we have them a little bit all over the place. Oh shit, we have the exact same problem, except now it seems like a little bit more structured. Definitely something that I wonder, I think, right? Like I'm really curious because it's able to build them, but it doesn't have a module if this is a problem of zipping these things up later on. And it would be pretty nice to be able to download snapshots. So hopefully the Git issue solved that, right? So we're gonna see how usable this is. I'm worried that all of these things might be a little bit too tricky to solve. I'm gonna try something though in here, which is the Tree Sitter Go project is a pretty big mess. Analyze the files and figure out is a pretty big mess because files got moved or copied into the wrong directory. Analyze the files and figure out potential ways to fix it. There's probably intermediate versions of the files as well. Read all you need to read before making an assessment. Create. And so instead of having Sonnet 3.7 go ham and just like completely nuke stuff on top of it, I am going to create a ttemp file, and you'll understand the project that I just built, which is going to be reorganize tree sitter go.md that extensively documents your findings and proposed solutions. Don't write any code yet. Use whatever tools and shell commands you find useful to analyze the code base, including running the Go compiler. I don't know if this is a good prompt, but I hope that 3.7 Sonnet is like one of the more aggressive models in terms of tool calling and like doing an analysis. And maybe I should have turned on the thinking. I don't know if Sonnet can do intermediate thinking. Let me turn on thinking actually. And let me turn on max because this is going to be a lot of context. All right. So we have the same issue with this dude, with the other project, that the directories have become a mess. And we're going to do the same process, see how much we can salvage, because the structure looks a little bit better. And so we're going to make ttemp go, and then we're going to unzip these files. And if we look at them in cursor, it seems we have a go mod, so that's a good start in the top directory. So we're going to go mod tidy, see how far we get. So that worked. And in here, we don't have any go file. We don't have the dates of all of this. So maybe we can go back to the scout info and see what it created first. That might be pretty interesting. So set up Goland development environment. I can click on this. So we go here. The first thing that it did, create ttemp txt. So this is just reading the files that I gave it. Warning, stripped absolute path. Do we have the ttemp txt? So to explain what this is all about, it's I do have all these ttemp files, right? Which are files that I create as I'm programming that are relevant. That's a good idea, the Pro 2.5 and AI Studio to clean the mess. I've never really used AI Studio, and I know I should, so let me do that. Google AI Studio, and then I'm going to use my Pinocchio catter print, and then put this all into ttemp go to have all the files. Then use Google AI Studio, and so this is where I should put it in. This is where I should add the file. No, it's not in my drive. Come on. Upload file, ttemp go, right? Which is everything that we have. I hope this is not too much context. And should I upload all the files individually? We'll see. And I'm going to use the exact same prompt over here, right? I uploaded the wrong one. I should do a tree sitter, right? Tree sitter go.md. Where's my browser? So remove this, add the file, upload file, temp tree sitter go, and then add this prompt. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll turn on like code execution and function calling later. Yeah, so I uploaded it in a file that contains all the file names itself. I'll try again with like, I guess, just uploading all the individual files. But this has, this basically has all the files in there with separators like this. We'll see. I'm curious to see what it does, right? Like, let's analyze the file structure and propose a reorganization. Okay, so this was indeed not the best idea. Should I upload like a zip file, or should I upload the individual files in there? All right, well, this wasn't too bad, right? Type something, and so oops. Can I just do this? No. Should I just zip it? Let's see. Oh, I'm going to remove the PNGs. And then how do I find the biggest file in here? Oops. Go file analyzer, web server, static, visualization.js. Yeah, well, this is not too bad. I guess I could remove the web server. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it. So zip, remove tree setter go zip, because I don't know if that. All right. Let's see what it does with a zip file. Vibes. And then you said in the system prompt, does the system prompt make any instructions? Make any difference? Just gonna add it here, right? Function calling lets you define functions. Why can't I turn on code execution? Do you know why I can't use code execution? Is it because I added a file? Because I added a zip file? Is it any file or is it just zip files? Current model doesn't support files of this type. Because the thing about cursor, right, is like it's able to execute all these things here. And then that will give us like a lot of information about it, right? So I think cursor is more like the right location to be, especially because I do want to do these like intermediate documents, and then inconsistent module structure. Good parts, clear separation of concerns, file duplication, proposed reorganization. Yeah, that's pretty nice. Clean reorg, consolidate, fix imports, next steps. So compare duplicate files to identify the most up-to-date, document the dependencies, create a detailed migration plan. I do like that quite a bit. And we can use Gemini 2.5 Pro in here, right? I do like that. It's pretty expensive, right? So let's see what this guy does with the instructions here, right? It's like going to install Go, indeed the latest version. I don't know why it installs a 22.0 though, because it should be 24.2 on the code base. And then does it initialize the Git repo though? It doesn't use the Git repo, right? Always use Git. So that might be something to reprompt a little bit. Always use Git. Call Git after every step. All right, I see. Yeah, thank you. Like Marcus is wrangling me, is walking me through the instructions on how to use AI Studio. I am gonna look at it in by myself quietly. It's something that I always wanted to use anyway. I think cursor is something that I'm more comfortable with, right? Why is this doing this stuff. I shouldn't be doing that. So let me see about the plan here. Because you see, even cursor gets the directories wrong. It's like, it's so fucking annoying, because I don't think this should be too much of an issue to build, not on the LLM side, but to build into the tools themselves, to have them figure out a little bit where they should be going, what the previous files they were. So did it try comparing files? No, so go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to stop. I'm going to, now that we have a plan, right? I am going to start a new chat and then read the files that you think that need to be checked for duplication and compare them. And I don't think I want the thinking just yet. Let it go. And I don't want to have it like do all of that. I don't know how much it's costing me, whatever. All right, so it's doing the git init, and then it's doing the git commit, and it's not adding all the files, so we'll don't forget to add new files every new file. So I'll add that to the Go prompt as well. Call git commit, always add every file to git, even if you think you already added it. So maybe I'm going to do code source control, important. And we're going to put this in here. All right, so it's been reading all the files here. And then recursive analysis is much more extensive compared to the root version has all of that. And now I'm going to switch to Gemini 2.5 Pro. And I'm going to continue analyzing and write a detailed and precise plan for reorganizing the system. You will create a 2025-0425 tree sitter go cleaned up directory and copy the relevant files step by step into this new directory, and figuring out what needs to be done at each step. Write the plan for migration, don't execute it yet, into TTEM 25042502 detailed cleanup plan for tree sitter go.md. The reason I make these file names so explicit as well is like so that when the model uses find to look at the directory structure, it actually already has information about what the file contains instead of having it just like called like plan md or whatever. Yeah, I've heard a lot of good stuff about AI Studio, and there's so much good stuff to be tested out there. But the thing I really like about Gemini 2.5, why I should really be using AI Studio more as well, is that the thinking traces are really nice to actually understand what's going on, right? So it will, and here, there's not too much analysis in there right now, because it's just regurgitating the analysis that it did. But once it starts comparing files, it will do that. So once it starts comparing files and stuff, then the thinking becomes pretty interesting, because it'll tell us like, oh, it looks like this function is pretty much the same as this one, but also the variable name has changed here. And that's like actually what I want to do without having to kind of do it on my own. And obviously, since comparing files is literally pattern matching, LLMs just like slay at it, right? So now that we have this detailed cleanup plan here, create a directory structure, create this, add initial content, then identify core logic. We will extract it, the logic and core parser demo. So now I'm going to go, right? I'm going to start the process. And we'll see how much this does. And obviously, this is also something I could give to an agent, maybe. So we'll see. And like Gemini and Cursor, not all that great. But right, but like doing this step of tool calling and all of that is like absolutely crucial. So why is it renaming that to parser? Copy to parser. Yeah, I hope that this Git navigation stuff is really gonna start to help. I'm worried that it doesn't do that fully. I wonder, I'm afraid that it's missing files in here. At some point, do run git add dot to add everything to Git to make sure we have it all. At regular intervals, I should add in here, right? Into go prompt, just to make sure. Oops. At regular intervals, intervals, run git add dot to add everything to make sure we have it all. So we'll do that. Here it's creating the models. So this is why I turned on the max, right? Like I expect this to just like create a gazillion million lines. I don't know what the result's going to be here. So yeah, this is interesting. So this is obviously a lot of cleanup time that's not fun. So there's different approaches that we could use here. Like another thing that I could do, and this is maybe what I'll do in AI Studio, is since we're in AI Studio, what I actually want to do is like, I don't want to clean up the code, right? What I want to do is I'm going to upload the file from this was tree sitter go MD. So this is a pretty big mess of a project, but it is really valuable. Write a very detailed plan on how to create a clean version of it for a software development intern that needs to have a step-by-step guide, including all the necessary context about the bigger picture and the approach taken. Right? Write full paragraphs along with bullet point lists, along with code snippets and pseudocode, and write a full guide. So basically just using all of this crazy mess that we have and basically asking it to create an implementation document. And it has 130K tokens, which is going to be interesting, right? Oh yeah, and you can see the code, the thinking trace here, which is nice. Documentation, testing, potential issues, define the cleanup. So this might be a more useful way of at least using to leverage whatever I've already created and the mess, instead of like doing this like menial cleanup, to just use that to create a really good document to recreate the whole thing, right? Follow the instruction. No. This is not what I want. And I wonder if I should continue this project. No, the document created should not refer to the current mess, but instead be about creating the project from scratch. And these prompts are maybe all pretty useful as well. We'll see. We'll see how well they work. So a cleanup prompt MD might be this, and then the we're going to look at that. So I have this guy continue. I guess I could have it. I'm going to make it go by hand. So this is going to be interesting, right? Because now it actually gives us like a clean document that we could potentially give to cursor. And at that point, we can actually reference back to what has already been implemented to complement it so that it has more context on what to build. So I think there's like, there's something to be gotten there. And then also going through this myself, if I were to really want to clean up that stuff, then that would be good. But I think in the future, having Git commits added, because I could see the agent running that stuff, right? Like it's too bad that I can't even get that first prototype that was just like finding function references, which was really cool. It's really annoying that is lost already. So yeah, that is interesting. Temporary CLI tool for testing the parser. Maybe there's something else I could add to a general scout prompt, which is general scout MD, which is keep a detailed append only change log of everything you do, including writing up errors encountered, steps taken, and decisions made. Yeah, whatever. So that's probably also a good prompt to have in there. Implement the basic parser, example snippet. And so because this is step-by-step, it will probably like start recreating all of these things, and I can have these like intermediate steps in there. So that's going to be interesting too. Implement a function analyze directory. Yeah, this is pretty nice because now I do have the step-by-step thing. I have explanations. I do have all of these additional things in there that will help, especially if I have the actual code to refer back to, right? So we're actually literally going to copy as markdown. Yeah, and we're going to go back to our document here. Say new file, 0 try, Gemini generated tree sitter, go clean up, recreation tutorial, right? Tree sitter from scratch tutorial.md. And so the file name, as said, is like, it's nice because then when the models do a find to find the structure of a repo, they already have like information about the content of the file and can like quickly zoom in instead of having like, you know, a memory bank.md or stuff like that. Maybe, right? Like it's none of these things are things that I validated per se. It's just like based on my vibes, but I try to be pretty like scientific when I work. Even like when I do see something that's wrong, I will try alternatives. I will like, you can see how I'm trying like these different techniques to clean things up, to see what we can make out of all of these issues. And so one other thing that I could try to do is like go to O3 and just compare that. And I'm worried that O3 is pro users now get access to more deep research. Okay. What's the lightweight deep research? Why has it removed all the models? So what can we do here? Search disable for deep research. Why is it in deep research mode? Get detailed insights. I have 220 queries until May 9th. Holy shit. But that's the fast queries, right? Why is it in a fast deep research? Language server protocol. It didn't do any search, did it? How does that work? I don't know. And I'm going to go, this is the prompt that I generated here. No, this is the cleanup prompt, right? Wait, didn't I upload a file just now? I had issues uploading files yesterday. It told me that I wasn't logged in, so I hope that that's fixed. All right, YOLO. How do I do the fast, quick, shallow search? I don't know. Deep research, fast, OpenAI. Introducing lightweight version. How does the lightweight version work? April was significantly increasing how often you can use deep research. Sure. Pro users get 250. That's amazing. This is made possible through a new lightweight version. Once you reach your limit for the full version, your queries will automatically switch to the lightweight version. What's the limit for the full version? 250? Man, this is so obscure. How does it work? I guess I'll still have the full version, right? Man, they don't know how to build products. It's crazy. All right, whatever it's doing here. Detailed overview, yeah, all. All right. So this wasn't a search, right? It's funny that it doesn't have the model selected here. Starting research. This looks exactly like the big ass previous one. Is this stuck? I don't know. We'll see. I don't think this will go anywhere. Like, I don't think this is compiling stuff because it's not doing it step by step. We're going to open like a new tab, and then we're going to go and say implement 03 first part. I'm going to remove this. Can I put them side by side? No. No, this is build it in 2025-04-25 tree sitter cleaned up, right? No, I already have a directory that's called like that. Tree sitter go from scratch. All right, how many things do we have cooking right now? This seems to be stalled, right? Oops. This did seem to be stalled. We're gonna try again. And we're gonna try. Sure. Okay, now it has something, so I guess this one is just stuck. That's not what we want. So now it's going to make tree sitter from scratch and go in there and go mod init, which is nice. I told it to always cd into the absolute directory, I think, in my cursor roles, which still doesn't work very well. I guess I could have used Sonnet to start. See, it's like already confused because it didn't use the absolute path, and it's fucking annoying. All right, this is pretty cool. I think the cleanup path is maybe a good way of doing it. So it looks like I'm putting together a detailed guide or like yeah, so this is O3 writing. I am no, it shouldn't be. Yeah, no, so I forgot about this. This is about a full rewrite from scratch, not an analysis of the existing messy code base. So that was the thing that I needed to add, right? Which I have there. Wonder why I didn't copy paste that. All right, this seems to be like a standard deep research, although it's going pretty fast. And then this is the deliverable we're asking this guy to implement. So it's installing the dependencies. All right. So that's cool. Let me git commit that actually. Is there anything you guys want me to maybe have a try at? In terms of like launching more agents, and then since we have been doing a couple of scout agents, and we've identified this problem of it just like making a big mess out of the files. Maybe it's time to look at some of the Manus stuff, which I know is much more organized. So let's see what we have overall. We can just add everything, I think, except the zip, right? Like that no bueno. Git remove cached. I guess I don't need it. What's a big directory here though? .git is pretty big. Then in 24 document. Okay, those are the PDFs, so that's good. And then here, cleaning up tree sitter. All right, yeah, go ahead. Should I start a new? We're gonna try in this context and see what happens. This is some deep research. This is doing the cleanup plan in O3. Why rewrite? Parsing, turn source code to AST. I kind of like the more terse version as well. I don't know how well it goes to then actually pass it on to an implementation model. Because that point is just like kind of copy pasting stuff maybe. Extract functions, write a query, and then implement this. Right, and this is something where if we refer back to the original code base, then that could be pretty useful, and we could maybe update this. And I'm gonna restart it from scratch, right? Write a full paragraphs when. However, oh no, I'm gonna add this at the end. However, mention the relevant files for each step in the original code base in case we need to look something up or as hints. So I'm going to try that again because I think that's going to be very, very important when we do want to clean them up, is that okay, so an agent interacting with AI Studio, so that would be computer use, right? So I think that's like a very hard task to delegate to the agents because they're already doing computer use. And I think that will like very, very much confuse them to have something controlling the computer on their computer's behalf. I'm not sure. Do you know what I mean? It's like a little bit meta, and I'm already having struggle taking screenshots of web pages. So, so I'm not. I think that will not go anywhere. What we could do, but then at that point, it kind of becomes a deep research, right? Just say like, oh, like find resources on using computer use to interact with AI Studio. Or maybe I misunderstood you, right? So to give context here, an AI agent, Marcus is asking for an AI agent that would interact with AI Studio, which I think is pretty cool. What we could do, but again, the browser mode is tricky, and we have to handle the Google authentication and all of that. So that's a little bit tricky. But I would have asked maybe, oh, make a Chrome extension for me to interact with Google Studio, but I still would have to get the agent to log into Google on my behalf, if that makes sense. So I managed to do that kind of stuff with Manus to just like interact manually, but it was like kind of a tricky mess and only went so far. I think that's like a big issue that these agents need to solve, right? It's like most of the stuff I want to use agents for are actually services that I have to log into. And yeah, it's interesting. So compare with command analyzer to see how the logic and the wiring are currently mixed together. So these are things that I would remove except in the relevant parts, right? But this is all pretty interesting. But see, for example, these things would be very distracting if I were to give them to something in cursor immediately. So I would just delete that before making the plan, right? And so see these kinds of things, I would just like not do. This is interesting, the just init. So what is just? I actually don't know that. I keep learning new things. Just init installs link just init. What a shitty name to Google. Just init's IDA. Okay, that's cool. Just init installation. This doesn't seem right. Anyway, so this is the stuff that I would definitely remove, right? Like say all of these, just like have it fully concentrate on the tools. This is nice. AST layer, create able. So there's no explanations here. And this is O3 terseness maybe, but I could maybe prompt that as well, right? Like for each step, add a full written paragraph and bullet point lists that explain the bigger picture, what this step is about. Then for each sub-step, do the same. I don't know how much my memory, like I don't like the memory in ChatGPT, it just like confuses me too much. So let's go see what our agents are doing. I should have like set this on auto run. All right. And this dude here is continuing to do its cleanup. So both are in auto run now. And then Gemini, this is getting to the end of its chat. So I don't think this was like too much of too great, but it got all the way to the analyzer. So just for fun, and I really have no high hopes for this. Let's go into the tree sitter, go cleaned up. And where's the tree sitter go? From scratch. Oh, it's oops. It isn't there. Why didn't I see it? Maybe I'm blind. Oh, it's in T temp. Okay, well, whatever. Tree setter go cleaned up, go run, command analyzer, go mod tidy, undefined import type setter capture name. So maybe it started hallucinating, maybe it didn't. Undefined function info, undefined this. So what I could do, and I'm going to be lazy here, I'm just going to start a new chat. I'm going to be, oh, this is the wrong cursor. So I'm going to start a new chat here, and then I'm going to do this, and then fix this, use the alt code when needed to find the right way of doing things, right? Use the alt code in tree sitter go. So I'll see where that goes. So you're asking OpenAI Open Router to do what? To do what exactly? Isn't operator? Sorry, operator. I've never tried operator actually. I tried some thing in that regard, and it was pretty tricky. And also, like I'm more and more interested into this, right? Like I think the whole Scout and stuff is pretty great, but I really want to have this locally as well to have more control over how the agents behave, right? Because like the git commit is something that I would just like code into the agent loop and just be sure that it works well. So I'm not sure. So let's see if this changed the writing style. It doesn't. Like it's weird how strongly this guy doesn't want to write things. Like I said, a whole paragraph, and it's like at least it has some sentences here. So that is interesting. Wrapping the C library in parser.once. Why the C library? I don't want to wrap the C library. I have a package to do that. Yeah, this is not great. I don't think O3 is like the model to do this kind of work. I think, however, let me try something else with O3. So it's like analyze why this is a mess and make a plan for cleaning up. Figure out which functionality is duplicated where. Think really hard. Mega think. I'm just putting the mega think as a joke. I don't think this actually triggers anything. All right, so this might be more interesting as a way of using O3. Yeah, so this is interesting. Let's go back to our agents and see what this is getting finalized now. And we can see that it even does like git tags, which is nice. It does git add dot, which is nice too. It probably hallucinated some screenshots, which is hilarious. I mean, it's fun because it gives us some ideas, but I prefer doing that work in Claude. But at least the git instructions work pretty well. So, and also the Go stuff, that's why it like went much faster than previous runs, because it doesn't spend like 15 hours just installing Go. Right, like it went straight into download Go, create it, go get the things, and then put it. So yeah, I'm really curious about the results here, because the cleanup, as you can see, is just like a lot of work that is also not necessarily right. So hopefully this now works. So this is the kind of errors that analyzer main.go. This is the kind of errors that Gemini always does, which is like put this new line at the end. It's like, I don't know where it's coming from. Whoa. This is great. Did merge, failed. This is some tree sitter shit. Path to the codebase directory. Exclude files. So this is the point where we could add like a lot of logging lines, and that's actually something that I'm going to add here. Code quality, dependencies, project setup. Use zero-log for logging and be extremely generous with logging so that we can better debug issues, right? Default log level should be debug. So I don't think cleaning all this up on stream is going to be all that interesting. But so so here I'm running into this weird like Gemini stuff. Continue and try compiling running once done. This is Gemini 2 calling stuff. Interesting work cleaning all of this up, right? Definitely a valuable effort that I'm doing here, I think, to dig deep into this. And I think this will be like pretty useful feedback for the Scout New team as a way to thank them for having all this compute for free for now. So definitely this cleaning up technique of using AI Studio to create a cleanup stuff was pretty nice, right? And you can see how important it is to have things on Rails, because the slightest little error will just like throw these models off really bad. And that's where most time is wasted. Like in the time it takes me to fix a typo, I could actually generate a whole prototype for something else, right? Like if you think about it, one inference of Sonnet 3.7 just to fix a typo is the same. Why it's the generating a whole UI in Claude is going to be why didn't it auto run it? Did I what do I have in my settings for the auto run stuff? Commands deny list, add commands allow list. Okay, so that's good. I'm just going to allow all the commands. Okay, so run. That is weird. Well, try figuring out what to build here. Let's touch grass. So this is something that I added, which is like if you try fixing the same thing twice, just like touch grass. To the old command simple parser path. Yeah, because you still have command simple parse. Like, why don't you try fixing it? Simple parser main. It's still there, but it hasn't deleted it. So the question here is what to do to delete that stuff, right? And then now I'm just going to go rewind things. I wonder, can I rewind here? Let's run the tests first. I can't rewind to like intermediate stuff, which is annoying because I do want to delete this, right? All right, run the tests for the second section in Gemini generated thing. Then continue. The code is in, what was it building? ttemp treesitter.go. tree sitter go from scratch. Okay, so this is doing like a deep research for sure. So while the repo feels like a junk drawer, I hate that stuff. This like trying to be cute refers to a messy code base. The thinking trace is not great, right? The code has many duplications. To clean up, I'll consider core functionality into one parser inside an internal. Start web server prints will be implemented later. Docs drift. Cleanup strategy, freeze the working tree, collapse to a single Go module. So this might be also like a set of instructions that seem to work pretty well, and O3 did a lot of thinking here. So roadmap, baseline, delete sparse. I mean, roadmap, 10 minutes LLM. Quick win, check script. Unify docs with template, read match. Okay. Write a detailed guide on steps 1, 2, 3. I'm stuck. Let's touch grass. It's already stuck again. I'm going to turn auto run off. This is like fucking expensive. Okay. Why is it not able to do that? Because it has analyzer test. And it needs go test parser. And then new parser returns an error, right? So why is it not able to do that? Is that in the instructions actually? Yeah, so this is where even if you're getting pretty far, right, with the cleanup, it's just like it is manual at this point because it's such a mess that it's going to potentially have the wrong references, right? If I do new parser and I look at, oh man, I have a lot of parsers in here. If I go into the tutorial generated, implement a new parser, and then now it's like, it's still stuck on this like new parser that it added previously, but because this is the only reference that I give it, it's not been updated, right? So after each step in the tutorial, we should kind of update the tutorial to match whatever code it has generated. And so, yeah, I'm not sure what should be happening here, right? And then it should fix the linting stuff as well, which is weird that it doesn't do that. I don't know if I disabled it. Did I disable fixing the linting? All right, so we're going to go there, and I can't rewind over there. So I fixed it. However, we need to fix the linting issues in, and all right. This is in detail here. Switch to a baseline branch, collapse it. So removing Introducing the lean package layout. Yeah, interesting. This definitely, I really have to like the, I think so far the tutorial to implement from scratch is the best I can extract out of these, I think. Man, and we have like some pretty crashes here, don't we? But we now have a runtime crash. Oh, nice. It did fix its crash. All right, cool. So, yes. Worried about the context size here. Because this forgetting about APIs that it wrote itself, I don't know if it crossed the chat boundary, but it is something that is that can be a consequence of having a too long window context window. All right, how far are we in? We're 2 hours in. My brain's starting to be a little bit blurry. So here we have the whole thing with Git manual control. So that's going to be interesting, right? Like now we should have Git. And if I look at the files, it doesn't give us the Git directory, huh? I hope that if I download all, I do get the .git directory. Zip archive downloaded. So I'm curious. Hopefully it will have the .git. Otherwise, I will definitely stop messing with the... Yeah, it doesn't give us the .git download, doesn't it? I mean, this seems much cleaner. This seems much cleaner in terms of structure, right? It does have a main.go here, and then it has like a main.go and a main.go over here. But can you make a zip including the Git repository as well? Or use Git archive so I can get the full thing? That might be something to add as well. I hope that it gives us the download of the Git repo. And that might be something to add to the Go prompt, right? I'm gonna say continue. Oh, it's still generating. Okay. All right. Well, that was a lot of brain so far. And I did ask it to do the Golang pattern matcher, but I didn't give it the Git instructions, right? Did I? Did I give it the Git instructions? I didn't give it all of that stuff, so I'm really curious to see about what comes out of the pattern matcher here. It should probably be a little bit cleaner than the tree setter stuff. No, I did the same mess here. Like we have so many of these repeated files. This is just like crazy. So the same mess. I'm not going to go clean this up. Doesn't have a Go mod, does it? It has a Go mod here. Yeah, this is annoying. All right. Righty. I hope we can download this all as a Git repo. If we can, then I'll restart that task because I kind of want to have all of this. So we do have the good git gcode full nav zip, right? Did I download it? No, it didn't download it. So the project is ready to be built. We have the gcode nav download. It doesn't have the zip dot, right? There's the git repo in here. All right, we're letting it cook. This was annoying. This is a mess. So I'm not going to go look at the other Scout news because that's going to be the main tenor of all of this. So we're going to switch to Manus. And we're going to look at... I gave it the tree sitter project as well. So create a Golang program that parses Go files with tree sitter. It asked me a couple of questions, and then we can see this is probably going to be a little bit cleaner. It says like, oh, okay, I'm going to install Go. This is kind of the same structure as before. It installs the same kind of version. But already here, it's going to be installing the... Wait, how do we do that? So it's going to get the latest stuff. It's actually not creating a Go mod. Interesting. Upgrade Go version. Then it does the Go get. It creates this file, which is interestingly the same struct, similar to the one before, which speaks to maybe they're using the same model as well. Then here it's downloading all of that stuff. It's not doing a Go mod, it seems, right? So maybe that's something that's worth putting into our Go prompt as well. Go setup, place code, use Go mod, and do Go mod tidy after every step. So as we scroll forward, it's fixing its code. It's fixing all of these things. Here again, I haven't done like much prompt engineering on controlling Manus. So I wonder if it actually hallucinated stuff here or not. Yeah, it seems to have been doing that work. So here, as we go down, we can view all the files, but then if I download this, this is going to be like a flat file. So they kind of have the same issue now as well. Download as zip. So that's something that I actually added as the first prompt engineering that I was doing. So moving on. Why is my brain so tired? I guess this is actually really mentally taxing right now. It's like dealing with a lot of basically errors, retrying, trying out many different solutions, being confronted with a lot of unknown. It's the dark side of vibe coding, right? It's like, but also once you have a good workflow, and it could really be that it's Go prompt, right? Like once I refine it, that like kind of works pretty well. And I know how to download the zip archive. And that's something that then the Scout team could put in. And then suddenly it turns from like a big pain in the butt that's like days and days of cleaning up code to like, oh, it just works just with a single file, right? And that's kind of the stuff that's a little bit scary with AI coding, is like it changes kind of every week. And it is like it changes your workflow basically as soon as like a little MD file has been added, or like a tool gives you the opportunity to add it, or you figure out a trick to do it, or you see someone's good prompt, and suddenly your whole workflow changes. If I'm able to reproducibly generate working Go directories without having to do this mess, because this mess is actually like the stuff works. It's really just like how it's presented. So maybe with just this little prompt, suddenly I have like full working Git. And that's like, it's kind of the magic and the non-magic of LLMs, right? It's like the people who built this don't know what's possible with them. And like no one will ever know what's possible with your model, because it's so, as soon as you give it like the opportunity to control a VM and run a shell script and maybe interact with a browser, like then it's all text, right? And so I wonder if the new zip file is now, if I can download it. It doesn't look like I can download zip files, right? Why is it doing this? Is it still like download instructions? Oh, they start appearing here. Because the cool thing with Manus is that you can actually jump into the VM, right? Like I can go in here, and I actually don't know how you do this. Is I can go here and then I can select an application to use, and then I can launch VS Code on that machine. Please log in below. Check the config file at home Ubuntu config code server config YAML for the password. All right, I'm not going to do this, not today, or maybe well, we can try that later on as an investigation. But for now, I just want this Go function parser, right, which I downloaded. Go function parser. All right, cool. So if we go back to our vibes directory, and then we go into our today's directory, and then we do unzip. We're going to make a Manus folder, and then we're going to do unzip download Go function parser. We're going to go into Go tree setter LSP. We can see that there's a clean Go mod, and then we can probably do go run dot, and we can do file main.go, and we get our tree setter stuff. And then does it actually do the LSP? I haven't seen language server protocol stuff in here. This only runs the tree setter part, right? Now I'll integrate this tree setter parser with custom LSP. There is an LSP client. Okay, so maybe we should read the documentation as well, huh? So go tree setter pretty output functions JSON. This parses Go files to extract, then finds all references for each functions running the Go PLS. Okay, does it do that? Receiver matches references main.go. Holy shit, it works. Holy fucking shit. All right, well, this is crazy, huh? This actually just works, it seems like. And it went pretty fast to build it. So if I go into the Manus folder and I go, say, into LSP and we look at the client, it actually does find the references, and it walks over there, and then it does find references in file on the client, parses the file, reads it out, inspects. Oh, so it does use the AST and it parses it, right? So it actually doesn't use LSP. It uses the AST parser. So now we're going to go in here. Instead of using the AST parser to find references, launch the Go PLS server and query it to do so. And I'm going to leave it at that, so that have it look up the documentation. Yeah, so I was, Marcus is asking if you could have like cookie cutter stuff. I do have a Go template, so definitely that's, I was thinking about that and was like, my template is a little bit too complicated to give it right now. Actually, where is it? Where's my template repo? Template. Did I move it? It's possible. There it is. And so this template is a little bit more complex because it has like releasing and Golang CI. So it has a lot of stuff to like confuse it. But there is a pretty standard structure, and actually that's a good thing to add to the Go prompt. I think the Go prompt is maybe like good enough, but you're right? It's like use the standard pkg command internal directories. Right, like this might be all very useful. I wonder if you can, yeah, using a template might be interesting. There's definitely tons. I wonder if like just having the Go prompt is like maybe easier because I can like more easy, like it actually has like narrative in it. I don't know, but it for sure would be pretty interesting to look at that. And in fact, this interaction of agents with GitHub are something that I asked Scout to build, and I hope that I asked Manus to build it too, because we can look at that. So I did experiment with having the agents update their status and even like coordinate themselves by using GitHub projects. So we're going to look at that. Add rewrites plus Manus. Is this guy still doing something here? We're going to stop. We're going to stop this agent, right? I'm just going to let it run, and then it still crashes. And then because the Manus one was like working nicely, I'm just going to leave it at that. So much for our Scout cleanup experiment. I think as soon as this issue is fixed here, but the download instructions, what do they contain? Like I can't download the zip, can I? Download the zip, but I can't find the file. It must be like blocked or something. Rename the zip file to gcode go code nav update.md, not .zip. Because it says here, go code nav zip. I downloaded everything. It's the same file as before. It's the same size. So I don't think this like fully worked. So it renamed it. Do we have that now? It didn't rename it. Right? Am I looking at the git log? Huh. Okay, use git git archive the current git repo as a single file. How does that work? I forgot. All right. Use git archive to archive the git repo to gcode nav git archive.targz, then rename that. Yeah, we're going to see if it can download targz. So this was great, right? It didn't do the LSP stuff, which is interesting, but I could have looked at this a little bit more. So here, I think it looks like I didn't tell it to GitHub API guide, GitHub project management. I don't remember Okay, so this is a project that I've been playing with. It's a way to it's a command line tool to control GitHub project issues, because I was trying to do it with the GH tool, but it was like a little bit confusing. And because to do parent relationships, it needs to have like special fields. So it did end up working, right? Like I gave Manus a token, and then I had it like go ham on some of my projects here. Actually, where are my projects? And then I think I had it go onto the Go Golems projects. Yeah, so we have the projects here. And then here, the agent started creating tickets, right, for each of its tasks. And then it also updated it with the right metadata, but it did it in a weird way where it like added it to the thing here, and then that didn't really work. So I was like, okay, I'm going to build like a command line tool that really exposes a really nice API way of doing it, like a command line flag API, and then just use that just give that to the agent and have it like download that. So we'll see if that works. And I'm pretty sure that Scout again got pretty far and just like made a complete mess of the file structure after that. So right, like, and I asked it to do this multiple times. So we do have compile, like implement GitHub engine rule and Go. What is happening now? Okay. I'm sure it like made a big mess out of it. Come on, what are you doing? What's happening right now? Scout computer. Oh, I have to go to files. No files available. Oh, so this one, it like kind of wrote everything into the history. So that's why I restarted a new one. So this was my first attempt. Oh, come on. It's like hanging so bad. All right, history. So that was the first one that didn't work. Then implementing GitHub rule engine from specification. It looks like it had connectivity issues, but it got to some point at least. And here it actually has what looks like a clean structure, huh? Okay, so that is surprising. Whoa. All right, so that looks pretty interesting, right? Because this has a pretty clean structure, and then it started like writing files into the chat as well, which is why I stopped it at some point, because I think it like doesn't have much in terms of the GitHub authentication itself. So I'm not sure what this is all about and what is missing here, and if I can just like add it, using another model. So that is all very interesting. It just like started doing the whole implementation here somewhere else, which is interesting in terms of this is something we could clean up. Not going to do it right now, but this looks interesting. It looks like really clean structure, and probably because it's a clean structure, because on the second inference it started like moving that stuff somewhere else. And especially it wasn't able to compile it, right? So that makes it probably like a tricky project to work with. It looks like when there's a lot of markdown, it gets really, really slow. So that was the second one. Then the third one probably also has an issue because I started again. But we can look at the things here. It actually looks like, yeah, a messy structure again, right? Because we have these things and we have them in here as well as the package. But it looks fairly okay, I would say. Again, something that for cleanup might be like annoying, but it doesn't look too bad. And I don't know if it tried to like build all of this or if it like started just fixing things. So, because it didn't run the end-to-end test, right? So it doesn't actually know if it works. Yeah, it never ran it. It did run it. It started Redis, or it tried to start Redis at least. Here ran a test. All right, so interesting. That was the third attempt, and then for some reason I started like one more. And we're not going to look at those, I think, except if it looks really, really clean, but I don't think it will. To do the fourth one, which also stopped at some tests, because, oh yeah, it was asking me for ngrok, it was asking me for all kinds of things, and that's where I stopped, and I was like, okay, well, this might be pretty interesting. So the structure looks, see when I see the home directory, but this is only the test results. And then here it has the nested directory issue again, where half the repo is in somewhere else. But it's weird that it was able to, in its final steps, connect repo non-interactive, GitHub token not found. So it's totally possible that it never got this to work, right? So it interacts with Redis here. Yeah, this looks interesting. It at least like got something to run, and this is like 154 files or something like that. So not going to look much further at that because we have a Manus version of all of this. And the Manus version I downloaded, it's called GitHub Project Management. Downloads GitHub Project Management. Then we can go into the GitHub API project, and then here go mod tidy. And go run command. All right, and then we have GHPM, which works. We're going to do init, edit this file, GitHub project YAML, and so set the GitHub token from an environment variable. I don't think this will work, but maybe it will. Let me quickly look if I have the GitHub stuff set up. Okay. All right, so we should be set up with our credentials over here. I hope I don't expose them. And oh, where's my camera? Now I don't know how to use this, so come on. So readme. Go build, move this go init my project, edit this, export, validate, apply. So if we look at GitHub project. All right, well, let's try it, huh? Apply. GitHub project. Failed to get organization ID, non-code, unauthorized body, credentials, documentation, URL, all of that. So I think this is an issue with the environment variable of used in the file. How was it able to run this in Manus? Because install GitHub repo, create project ticket. That's the one, right? Wait, it's showing me the wrong project. Oh, no, this is the Mac list. This is when I did it on the command line. GitHub API guide, GitHub project management. So was it able to run this? I guess I did. It's creating the data. Yeah, so it has the same issue here of not being able to authenticate. But at least it runs, so that's interesting. I need to find a better way to deal with my tokens on stream because I've shown it multiple times. Which means that I'm going to delete them because I can't scope them at like I can't scope them for even just a day. So goodbye. Oh, maybe this token is wrong actually also. Let me try just to see if it was a token issue. And then if it was a token issue, I'll get back. I'll get back to that project, I mean. Otherwise, I might call this a break, take a break, and then return later on for to just work on some actual code because this was pretty tiring, and this was pretty tiring, and I want to still get something done today. So let me see. Write discussion project, read project, write. I don't think I need more in terms of permissions. Generate token. So this is Manus. Scope it to 7 days. It doesn't have many permissions anyway, so. All right. I'm gonna look at. See if that's the issue. All right, the token has not been granted the required scopes to execute this query. The ID fields requires one of the following scopes, read org, but the only please modify your token scope at XYZ. So I guess we're going to do that. I'm going to add a token with the new scope. So it was definitely like an issue with the token that I had already revoked it. So let's go to repo. It needs to have read org. It needs to have user. It needs to have write discussion maybe. It has project. Let me see. Am I forgetting anything? Project repo user workflow. I don't know why I need workflow, but I don't think I do. Next try with the token, and then if that works, we can go back on camera. Failed to process issue, failed to get user ID for username, failed to get user ID for the logging of username. So that makes sense, right? Because I didn't put the username in here. Assignee is Vazen, and then my org. Replace with your username. And let's see what this can do. Failed to get organization ID, could not resolve an organization of. So let's change that. And label specified but not implemented in this version. Issue created with ID, project created with ID, creating project, my project. I don't think this worked, to be honest. So I think here we really have to do some engineering to get it to run. So I don't have a project here. And then I also don't probably have a project in my organization that has been created. So we definitely have something that at least compiles and runs, but doesn't work. So much for that. It's a pretty complicated GraphQL thing. And I just deleted the token, so we can go back. It does run, but it seemingly doesn't work. So it was a fun little project. It probably teaches me things as well, but I'm not out of a job just yet. And if we look at the way it does it internally, it has a GraphQL API. So, right, like there's a lot of stuff that has been like put in place here, but that doesn't fully work. That doesn't do the right error checking. But it's a really good start. Since it compiles and the project is clean, it's a really good, nice start to build things up. And potentially, like the Manus went way further. The Scout job went way further, but like we saw that we ended up with a mess, right? So potentially I could merge both programs. Here did the Golang program to parse with GoPLS now, which was the previous tree sitter thing. This one has like a 72 megabyte download. So let's look at that. And I wanted to also go check on the Scout and the Git archive and how it's doing. So this was the GitHub repo that we looked at. And then what's the Scout that I was asking to do Git archive stuff? Creating a Git archive of gcodenav stuff. And git archive.md. So did it create a gcodenav git archive.targz, but it doesn't allow me to download it, right? It has like kind of a filter on file types. Maybe I need to refresh it. This is annoying. I don't have it, and then rename the gcodenav git git archive updated targz to foo.nd. I wonder if it, I wonder why it doesn't allow us to do that. And I think if I download all, I will still not have the right thing. Right, it's still 22 megabytes, but it really shouldn't be. So that is kind of annoying. I could ask it to upload it to some repo. Yeah, we'll see how to extract files out of there. To go back to our tree sitter in Manus, we're gonna unzip the big ass download and see if it's able to do the GLSP. And actually, we could look at the Manus and see if it even tried to run it with the GoPLS, because that's like a more complicated way of running these things. So here it does install the GoPLS thing, which is nice. And Now it's handling the terminal issue. Okay. Install GoPLS, handling terminal issue. Interesting. So it's downloading Go again. Great, I've successfully installed 123.8. Creating file LSP client. So that's much more what it was like. It has the JSON RPC. Move the test. Testing that the implementation works. After initializing the module, Go function parser, it builds. Executable not found in path. So it tries to find it here, then updates the path down there. Builds it, runs it again. Failed to unmarshal references, unexpected end of JSON. Using GoPLS to find references. Testing the updated after rebuilding. So this didn't work, right? And because the file was there from previously, it like delivered it, right? But it's, I'm going to say the test output.json was actually left over from before. As you can see, the program actually fails and says unexpected end of JSON input. Go back and also use zero log with default logging level debug and add a lot of debug lines with caller info to give us better debugging output. And actually, I'll put that into my Go prompt things here as well. At regular commits, use zero log for logging. Default level log should be debug, enable caller information. I'm going to put this in here, important. And I'm going to update the mana stuff because I think what I now did download is probably not going to work very much. And so I'm going to wait for this. All right, where were we? We have a lot of things that we tackled. We were not very happy with the file handling in scout.new. That's really problematic. And Golang pattern matcher. This was before the zip stuff, right? Exporting the zip. Oh, now it's like in the scout problem where I ran into that repeatedly, and it's like, I don't know, they probably have load issues. So we're going to try that later. So much for working and cleaning up some of our little gifts. The mana stuff is much more interesting. My brain is a little bit burnt out, but I have many of those here going as well that would be pretty interesting to look at. One of the issues that I have is often getting it to render CSS correctly, which is a little bit annoying because I don't fully understand why. And especially there's also an issue which both actually have, which is running a certain React library that I have, and I just like can't seem to be able to make it work. So that's something this ReaFlow library, right? And it's like not able to really get this to run. So this would be interesting to look at. It's definitely the ELK problem that we have, right? I did search for solutions to the ELK rendering issues, and I actually never really looked at the terminal, I think, at the logs. So I wonder if this like runs locally and is really just an issue on the, because it renders these like empty pages. And obviously that's not what we want, right? And then I don't know where it's found these like ELK issues. Because it does do the packaging ELK here. And it's running JavaScript checking for errors. So there's a lot of info that we don't necessarily see here that could help us debug that. So that's the other instruction, right? It's like we had general scout, keep a detailed append only changelog of everything you do, including writing of errors encountered. The problem with the Git is that we don't seem to be able to download the Git result. Let me see, try again. And yeah, so much for that. A little bit. Yeah, I'm actually pretty annoyed by the Scout new file stuff, because if it had worked, it does look like some pretty interesting code. But yeah. All right, well, see you later.